The reason for this video, it may sound basic or simple or even kind of unnecessary, but I've been personally playing this game since pretty much MVP was taken out, and I've probably realized that I have never played Diamond Dynasty up until MLB The Show 2020, and I missed out on so much of the game and what this game has to offer just by not playing a game mode, just because I didn't really understand it. Primary purpose of this video is just to go through each game mode, explain a little bit about what each one is, and hopefully get you a little bit more insight on everything. So I'm going to do Diamond Dynasty last because that's probably the most detailed. First game mode is March to October. What March to October is, it is a quick hybrid of a simulated season and a season that you actually play. So the primary goal of March to October is to take your team that you select and basically win it all. Now, each team is broken down into different categories. There's contenders, there's favorites, underdogs, and long shots. So based on which team you select, you need to make roster moves to help you win for that season. Now, what ends up happening, I'm just going to start a new. So you got favorites, contenders, underdogs, and long shots. So now these are obviously favorites. These are the players that have the best roster, the teams that have the best roster, the easiest path to win a World Series. Contenders is basically long shot, or like people that like on the bubble teams. And you look at the Cubs, Rays, Mets, my personal favorite, the Padres. Underdogs are the teams that are unlikely to make it. You don't have the best players. And long shots. Now the great thing about March to October game mode, it is directly tied into Diamond Dynasty. But you can also start a March to October if you're an offline player and export it to a franchise, which I'll get into later. And I'll get into a little bit more about team affinities. That's what I'm talking about with Diamond Dynasty, but that's later on in this little show. So for now, I'm going to pick a long shot. I'm just going to go with the Marlins. So dynamic, there's different difficulties that you can select. Dynamic is what adjusts. It's going to adjust your difficulty based on your performance. You got rookie. That's obviously game mode rookie, veteran, all-star, and Hall of Fame, and legend. So once you select one, you can always, my understanding is that you can go down a level and you'll surrender rewards. So at the end, there's called reward gates where you get team affinities that help you in Diamond Dynasty. Now, the higher the difficulty, the more points you get towards these team affinities, and based on different checkpoints in the game. So for now, I'm just gonna put rookie just so I can plow through one.
Perhaps no team is as excited as the Miami Marlins for the 2020 season and a chance to begin anew. After all, the Marlins went through the 2010s without posting a single winning record. The rebuild and youth movement continues in Don Mattingly's 5th season. His charges may be light on experience, but they are not light on talent. And Miami's prospects will get a chance to learn on the job in 2020. How well they respond and how quickly they develop will go a long way to determining if the Marlins start to see some tangible progress in the win column.
So you get a little intro, real life clips, and it jumps right into opening day. Now, I'll kind of you're going to start off, typically most games, you don't play every game, you play pivotal moments. Pivotal moments that are going to give you what's called momentum. The more games that you win, the more momentum that you get, and the more momentum that you get, it's going to help your team when you simulate from game to game to game to game to game. And as you get more momentum, the more momentum you have, the more games it's going to translate to. This is the most annoying lady on the planet, by the way, because you cannot simulate these.
Speaking with manager Don Mattingly, he stressed the need
So we're going to skip through all this. So most games start mid to late innings. So in this particular simulation, you start in the top of the sixth. Now, if you care about Diamond Dynasty, it is very important that you do not quit. You cannot quit in the middle of the game, because what ends up happening is the game tracks that, and as you quit, it's going to warn you. And once you're warned, if you quit again, you're not going to get any rewards for the Team Affinity program.
And rightfully so. Throw to first gets him, so the leadoff man's retired here to begin the sixth.
I would say to finish a season, 3 to 5 hours is what you can expect to play. Now, since it is only one season, if you are, I mean, you can kind of be a G, you take control of the team. What I did is I literally traded every prospect that didn't help me that season and just bought high-profile players. I think I finished with Yelich almost every time. You finish with the best players in the game, trading prospects. But I mean, if you want to play it more realistically and transition into a franchise, it's a good idea to do that as well. So I'm not going to play all 3 innings. This video would be 4 hours long if I did that. So, and you get, when you play this, you basically get the same version of franchise, like a mini franchise, where you can trade players, you can set lineups, and most of the games are going to be simulated. Now, if you lose, you're going to lose momentum, and your team's either hot or cold. So if you're cold, you're more likely to lose, and if you're hot, you're more likely to win. Franchise, you basically have full control of your team. So I'm obviously a Padre fan, so select the Padres. These are the settings that you can set. So before you set a franchise, I do not believe these can be adjusted. So it's very important when you go into it to make sure everything is where you want it to be. If you want it to play realistic, you want to leave forced trades off, and you do not want to ignore budgets, and because the more that you change these settings, the more it's kind of turns into fantasy. Or if you like doing fantasy, then do fantasy draft, and I believe you can even let the legends, so if this one allow legend free agents, this is how you can get Tony Gwynn, like basically every legend that's in the game, into the free agent pool and just play, have fun. But for this, we're just going to leave it like this. Coaching task is, you can set auto manage, player development task, and general manager task. This is depending on your understanding of baseball and your understanding and how much you understand baseball. If you want to just play the game, probably want to turn off general manager task, where you can hire, fire staff, because that matters. You set your 40 mans, but you got to know how to set your 40 mans, because if you take someone off, they go on unconditional waivers. But it'll kind of guide you through the entire thing. Player development task. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan of scouting, so I typically auto manage that, but I do manual, and I just let scouting kind of handle itself. So this is where you can basically establish if you want to play spring training the first season or regular season. And This is really up to you. If you want to have a spring training, see if you have spring training, you really want to play spring when you have a lot of prospects that are kind of borderline making your team. But if your roster is already set, just go in regular season. Now the cool thing about franchise is if you want to play with your own created player, you can do one of two things. I always recommend creating your player in the game. That way you can kind of control the contract that you have. Or you can even create a player in the main menu and save them to a roster, and then when you load the roster to start your new franchise, all you have to do is load your roster. So when you load your roster, your created player will be there. If you made any trades, like let's say you want Mike Trout on the Padres, you can do that. Or if you have your own custom roster, you can do that as well. Now when you get to the franchise main screen, this is where you have basically full control of everything that you want to do. Now, there's a lot of things here that have to be unlocked as you play the game through packs. For example, sponsorships. The only way to obtain sponsorships is either through the marketplace or through Diamond Dynasty Community Market. So as you play and get more packs, you download them, and open packs, you start getting more equipment related items. You start getting what they call unlockables. So these are all the sponsorships that we have available. You can set your budget, you have as much control as you want to have in this. You can keep track of your budget. So you basically want to make sure your team doesn't go in the red. So you can't just sign whoever the hell you want. You can't sign Mike Trout. You can't do all that. On the trades, on one of the opening menus, you can establish if you want to force trades. What that does is if you look on the top, I can't just trade Tommy Pham for Michael Given. Like let's say if I was the Orioles and I want to trade for Tommy Pham, I can't just give garbage in return for the best players. That is unless you put force trades on. So if force trades is on, it's basically going to ignore the logic the game has, the algorithm that the game has. If you have force trades off, you have to make a deal that makes sense for both clubs. Alright, so that's franchise in a nutshell. Road to the Show. Personally, my favorite. I don't think I have a Road to the Show. Road to the Show is my personal favorite. It is basically an RPG version of you. You create a player and you start them off from the minor leagues. You start them off from a scout team actually, and depending on how you do in like the combine and stuff like that, not combine, but showcase, I guess it's called. Depending on how you do there is where you get drafted, and you can choose if you want to go to college just to try to improve your draft stock, or if you just want to go. And then in this year's, what makes this year's Road to the Show different is there's actually interactions that happen that impact how some mental attributes work. So how you interact. So you can I'm from Afghanistan. I'm not, but I just want to be a knuckleball pitcher, fastball, and splitter. Just trying to paw through this. Yep, my name is Joe Random. I'm a lefty. I bat right. And each position has their own different type of player that you want to be. So you want to be plain filthy. That's basically people that just have a lot of movement. So you can look at the major strengths. Slot 1 break. So your first pitch, the break on the first pitch, your stamina is going to be the easiest, and your hits per 9 innings. Hits per 9 innings is important because it's how the game calculates if the computer gets a hit or if the opponent gets a hit. And the weak spots is obviously the control. I don't know why they have control under Greg Maddux, but whatever. So, since my guy's a knuckleball, I gotta be control freak. And these are your personalities. Do you want to be the heart and soul of the team? So you basically, you have these impact your quirks. So quirks are basically hidden. If you're looking at RPGs, it's equivalent to hidden abilities. Hidden abilities are things that are passive, and it doesn't change, but when you put in certain moments, you get like slight boost in your attributes, or if it's a negative, I don't think there's negative quirks, but you do get slight boosts. I'm just gonna pick captain. Name's Joe Random, looks good. And you start off on scout day, so when you start the road to the show, all that you're doing right now, you want to pay attention to the lettering on the screen. You also want to pay attention to your responses because they matter. As you respond, it's going to give you different relationships with different people. That's going to actually change how your player shapes and performs. So I'm just going to start the evaluation. I don't know why I'm throwing knuckleballs for the evaluation, but it's always easier. So now, as you execute each training thing, obviously I'm late on every pitch I'm throwing because I do meter. But as you execute your pitches, your draft stock goes up. And as your draft stock goes up, it doesn't really mean much, it's just how you're regarded in the organization. The earlier you're drafted, the easier it will be for you to get promoted to the show. Now, in Road to the Show, this is important. You can dictate if you want to play fielding moments. Some people like to play every moment that their player is involved in. Some people like to just hit. Some people like to just hit and run with no fielding. So you can change that in the settings. I don't think I can change it in these settings, but you can dictate if you want to field at all. Like, it'll just pass all the fielding moments if you don't care about those. You can play every moment, or you can even just play some of them. Now, you can do the same thing with base running, where you can play a quarter of the base running, you can play half of the base running, you can play all of the base running, or none of it. So like, if you play quarter, you start like at 2-2. If you play half, you start at 1-1. Like quick counts essentially. Or if you play all of it, it's every bat that you're on base. You can also set, this is what I always recommended, and this is what I always played as, is I always played with lead runner. If I'm not the lead runner, I don't really care. I don't want a trail runner. I'm limited to what I can do. To me, that's not fun. So I always simulate.
Even a ball player.
Let you listen to this.
That personality influences how they respond to their teammates and their coaches.
So based on the perks that you have, this will help your captain personality. This will help your heart and soul personality. This will upgrade your maverick personality. This will upgrade, and since I'm a captain, it's always smart to upgrade that tree first. But it's essentially it's a fundamental trait of an RPG. You think about RPGs, you got traits and you got skill levels, and you upgrade different skills that help you throughout the game. So now you play the first showcase, and how you do in these games matter. There's 3 of them, and how you perform in those is how you play. So I'm gonna jump out now. I don't want to get into detail. I'm not. Obviously, if you have any questions too, simulate an exit.
A 1-run finish, 4-3, the final tally today. Jason Caruso.
But if you have time and if you really like creating players, you can customize every aspect of your player, like from nose, tip, depth. I can literally create my face if I took enough time and had enough ability. So I'm going to quit. Alright, custom leagues. This is where you can play with friends. This is where you create a league with X amount of players and you play a season. You basically just play a season. I don't play too much leagues. If you're heavily active in groups like on Facebook, or if you have a group of friends that you play with, I'd recommend leagues, but most of the leagues that you're gonna find randomly fizzle out in like a day or two, so I would really avoid that. So, play now is if you just want to play. Just want to play a game with live rosters, online rated. So this is where online rated is where you select teams, all 30 MLB teams, and you play with updated rosters daily. Now you can play, like, say I'm the Padres and I play with someone that's the Dodgers, and how I perform is going to be how I rank. You can play just for fun too, play computer. Community market is more Diamond Dynasty. I'll get into that in a second. The last with moments. So moments are basically recreations of famous moments. You can play these. These are all tied into Diamond Dynasty. So, I mean, if you just like recreating moments, you'll have a lot of fun playing these. For instance, the first moment that you play is this. So basically, Mariano Rivera, this is when he set the record for saves. 53. This is his 53rd save. I'm not familiar with the Yankees. I don't care. But you basically have to pitch an inning, strike out. You have to recreate his moment. This is where David Ortiz hits an absolute tater tot. And 95 World Series, Tom Glavine, where you have to pitch 2 innings, not give up a run, etc., etc., etc. And as you complete these, you get XP, which will help you towards... XP helps you upgrade. It gives you packs and stuff, different paths, and also gives you stubs. Now, stubs you can also use in different game modes. Franchise, Road to the Show. You can buy experience points, upgrade your attributes. But I mainly use stubs for Diamond Dynasty. Challenge of the week. It's basically a promotion. I believe you win real life stuff. I think like the first week they actually gave away physical cleats. So this week, depending on how you perform in this challenge of the week, first place gets Javi Baez autographed baseball. Second place gets 30,000 stubs. Third place gets 25, and etc., etc. You can read. Home Run Derby. This is a great way to earn XP if you just want to have some fun. For those of you who don't know what home run derby is, it's baseball's version of kind of a slam dunk contest, or this is what we do before, like 2 days before the All-Star game, is we have a home run derby where you have rounds. You have rounds depending on your seed, and it's timed how many home runs you can hit in X amount of time, and you get bonus time if you hit 2 450-foot home runs. I believe you get an extra 30 seconds at the end. It's changed from just a straight 10-out method. Retro mode is a kind of a relatively new thing, like 3 or 4 years old. It's kind of like a throwback way to play the game. I'll turn it on real quick just so you can see what it's like. It's modern graphics, but an old school playing style. Think Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball. And I'll kind of show you what I mean.
Hi,
So,
this is King Griffey Jr. Welcome to the show, Retro Mode.
see how the pitcher moves left and right from the plate, and it's just very simple animation, simple gameplay.
Foul ball.
So this is how you determine the pitch in and out.
Foul.
And the animations are kind of dumb. It's fun. And that's Hosmer being Hosmer, that's typical. So, I mean, it's retro mode. It's very simple gameplay. A couple buttons is all you really have to play. Old school animation, old school kind of play style. It's fun. Moving on to custom practice. If you are new to the game, if you're new to the series, if you're new to baseball, this is a fun way to just practice. You can set up situations if you want to pitch, if you want to hit, if you want to field. It's a way to learn how the ins and outs of the game. All you have to do is press pause. When you press pause, you kind of dictate what situation you want to put yourself in. It's very similar to Madden, if you ever played Madden, where you can select the play and what kind of happens with the play. So this defaults to me pitching. All you have to do is select, I want to hit, I want it to be a 3-0 count, or if you want to like practice like 0-2 with a runner on third, and I want to practice hitting. Now I'm going to run into a game situation where it's 0-2 runner on third. And you just kind of run through it, and you can basically practice whatever you want. You can repeat the same play, so basically every time you hit with this batter, it's going to be that. If you're pitching, you can also practice your defense. And that's custom practice in a nutshell. Other game mode is postseason. So essentially with postseason, all it is, it's just you select which teams you want. You select which teams you want in the postseason. You can set different settings, fantasy draft, and you just run through the postseason. Like let's say I want to play the World Series. I want to run through with Washington and try to recreate their World Series run. It's like a small version of franchise. Alright, I think I covered every game mode except for Diamond Dynasty. Now, Diamond Dynasty, do not be intimidated like I was for many years. It is really not as hard as it seems. It's much simpler than Madden Ultimate Team. So now, essentially, all it is a trading card game. It's based on real Topps cards. Topps or Upper Deck, I don't remember. I think it's Topps. So these are actual, some of these are actual top cards, not minus the signature series and stuff like that, but these are actual cards. So these are actual pictures of cards. Like you see, this one says Topps right there. Topps. It's a Topps picture. Topps, Topps, Topps. As you unlock more cards, you get to play with these players, and you set a roster. There's no caps if you were to play offline or if you were to play ranked seasons. You just create the best team that you can. So there's several different game modes inside of Diamond Dynasty. First one being ranked seasons. So if you look on the top left, my rating right now is 529. I just started playing on a monitor, so I'm starting to get a little bit better. My average went up from 235 to 249, so I'm getting improvement. But as you rank up, so as I get to, right now I'm 529, so that puts me right here at Pennant Race. Your level gets you these packs. So if you get this pack, you get a Bronze Live Series. You get the 200, you get a Live Series Silver. You get the All-Star, you get a Silver Live Series player. There's different series inside of the cards. I'll go over that in a second. You get a couple nameplates. Here you get a couple diamond cards. You can see their diamonds based on their overall value on the top right. There's rarities, just kind of like almost any RPG. Is the rarity levels are diamond, which is the best players you can get. In diamond, there's high and low diamonds. Low diamonds being 85 to 89, because the lowest diamond you can get is 85. And if you get over 89, I think it's 88 actually, and 89 and up to 99 is a high diamond. And below from 84 to 80 is gold. 79 to 75 is silver. 74 to 70 I believe is bronze, and then below that is what we call common cards, and they are color coded. I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you a inventory. So you can see on the top right, these are what we call live series cards. These are Orioles rosters as they stand today. These live series cards get updated as these players play in real life. Now in real life, let's just say Jose Iglesias turns into an absolute monster. They're going to start boosting his attributes on the bottom right. On the bottom right, you'll see his contact goes up. Those determine his ability. His ability right now is a 78. And you can unlock these cards via packs, or you can buy and sell them on the community market. And if you want to know how to get them, you can look at the player profile by pressing triangle and go to locations. So you can get him by community market. Right now he's going for 400 or 619 if you just want to buy him now. Post-game rewards, so if you, as you play games and you get a reward, you can possibly unlock them. You can get them by logging in every day, or you can unlock them through packs. Now you can see JD Martinez is an 84 gold, better hitting stats. He has the possibility of going diamond as the season progresses, as they boost his attribute levels as the season goes. They're going to boost him, and he could possibly get it to a diamond level, and that'll raise his value, because right now you can see he's selling for 3,043 if you wanted to buy him right now. And if he goes up to a diamond, that now raises the minimum threshold to 5,000. I'm talking about stubs, of course. There's 5 different levels of cards. There's players, there's equipment. Now this equipment you may recognize if you ever played Road to the Show. In Road to the Show, as you create your player, you can use different equipment that gives you attribute boost. See the gloves. So if you ever wanted to just play Road to the Show, if you don't have these cleats unlocked, for instance, you can't select them in your Road to the Show. There's sponsorships which can also be used in Road to the Show. I usually sell these off because I'm not really collecting those right now. Unlockables are different things for like your creative player. These are bat flips for no doubt home runs. Different silly things that you can do. You can test out the animations in when you create players through your motions. These are different things as you're rounding third after you hit a home run. It's different silly things that they do. Different stadium sounds as different moments you can set. So, for instance, when I strike someone out, I do like the DJ sirens. And these are stadiums that you can play. These are stadiums that you can unlock as well to use in different game modes in Diamond Dynasty. The most common you'll see is minor league stadiums, because there's theories that minor league stadiums have less fans and fans create lag, but I'll play anyway. And these are where if you have any packs, you can buy some. Their cost. Now remember, these packs can be used because you're going to still get equipment items, and those equipment items you can use in different game modes. And there's these things called headliners. Each pack has certain odds. So on headliner packs, it's 1 in 10. So theoretically, the odd rate is 1 in 10. So out of 10 packs, you get 1 diamond, but obviously that's just the odds. It doesn't necessarily mean if you open 10 packs, you're guaranteed to get 1 diamond. You can go 20, 30 packs and never get a diamond, but it's just how odds work. Sometimes the odds are in your favor, sometimes they're not. I personally, although this is a tutorial video on just how to play the fundamentals of the game, stay away from packs unless the value of the player you're trying to get is way higher than because like some of these guys you can buy for 35,000, or you can open 5 packs and hopefully get them for 35,000, and it doesn't make sense to try to open 5 packs, waste money when you can just buy the guy. You can only buy 5 per set, and they come up with sets every so often. I'm not exactly sure. Alright, so the game modes. Ranked seasons I went over. Showdown. Showdown is basically different levels, different missions that you have to accomplish. Basically moments. It's a string of moments that you have to complete with bosses in the middle. So the red cards are bosses, these are moments. If you pass this moment, so for instance this one is, if I win this one, I get a Diamond Live Series player. I get 2 Diamond Live Series players. So now when you start it, you start a draft where there's different rounds, 8 or 9 different rounds. The first 2 rounds usually consist of a diamond, and then you got to pick 1 of 4. Second round you pick 1 of 4. Third round you pick 1 of 4. I'll probably put a video up going more detail on draft strategies and stuff like that, but you basically draft your own team based on a very select few cards, and as you beat these normal missions you get more players unlocked, which is supposed to make the final boss a lot easier. You can fail the blue moments. Once you fail, you move on to the next one. If you let's just say I pass this one, I move on to the red one. Now the red one has a certain moment, it's a boss. If you pass it, you move on. If you fail it, you're done. The showdown is over. Now you'll learn very quickly that showdowns get very difficult. Battle Royale is kind of a similar, it's similar to the Showdown draft. Essentially, you draft a 25-man roster, just like in baseball. You're guaranteed to get one pack. You basically, one entry is 1,500 stubs, and you have to pay 1,500 stubs to enter, and you draft the best team you possibly can, and you can see the reward pool. If you get 12 wins, you get a 90 plus diamond. If you go 12-0, so if you win 12 straight games, they're only 3-inning games, you get to choose from one of these guys. It personally has never mattered for me because I will never get these guys, no matter how hard I try. But they're typically, they sell for a lot. So if you're good enough in this game, play this, and you get players that sell for a lot. You can also get diamonds to help complete what is called collections. But I'll get into that later. Inside of it is also Conquest. Conquest is similar to a board game. There's kind of a lot to get into it, but what the primary purpose of these is you get a lot of rewards just by finishing these. So, for instance, I'm going to restart this. Alright, did I restart this? So, this number corresponds to how, it's kind of like Risk. Think of it like the game Risk if you ever played it. This particular has 5, I don't know, 5? I don't know, the value is 5. That means I can either move. As I move one spot, it takes away one and leaves one behind. So I move that there. Now this will go 3. If I move right here, I'll now have 2 in this spot, and then I'll have 1 in this spot. You can attack other. You can steal fans. These are required for missions, so check the missions before you go. Reinforce. So every turn you get one reinforcement per 3 spots. So for instance, I'll go right here. And now, if I wanted to attack the blue, it's basically 4 on 2. So the more fans that you have on your team dictates the simulation percentage. You can see it's right now it's about a 50-50. Or I can play based on the ratio of how many fans I have on my spot and how many fans are theirs, opens different difficulties. So if I had, let's just say I had 50 against 2. If I wanted to play that quick 3-inning game, I can play on as easy as Rookie. If I just wanted to simulate it, see, I got smacked. So now I only have 1. I'm pointing, you can't even see me point. I only have 1 left on my spot, and he still has however many were survived. There's also a move fans phase. So let's say if I have more than 1 fan on one spot, I can grab this and move it over just to give me an extra. And as you go into different spaces, I just got smacked again. What a punk. Some of these spaces have hidden rewards which contain different packs. Different packs have different odds and different cards available. So that's Conquest. There's tournaments. I don't really worry about tournaments because I'm not good enough. There's moments which help you unlock cards. I kind of went over moments, same as. Now, events, there's parameters set to where you can only have, so this particular event is Primetime 2. In this event, you can have only Prime players, Award players, Signature Series, and Faces of the Franchise players. Or you can do any Bronze and Silver player. Your max team cannot exceed 94 overall, and it's a 6-inning game with quick counts. That is a perfect segue into the different types of cards that there are. But if you win 3 in a row, you get a Live Series Bronze. And if you win 12, you get 89. It's on a single entry. You're allowed 2 losses per entry. Same thing with Battle Royale. You lose twice, your Battle Royale is done, and you just collect the rewards that you got. Extended play is basically how you play against computer. So when you see missions that say you have to beat a certain team on All-Star, they're referring to on extended play. This is how you can compete. Like, let's just say I wanted to play a friend just for fun. You can play a friend's team, unranked. You can play a casual online game against someone if you're just testing something out. Play versus computer or extra innings. So if you want to just first to score wins. So the different cards. So there are cards called awards cards. So those are cards like this. Highlighted right now is Silver Slugger Gary Sheffield. This is based on the 1996 Gary Sheffield, who won the Silver Slugger, and in 1996 he played with the Marlins. So his picture is going to be on there. Below there you can see the attributes. You can see his attributes. Supposedly this player is really good. I haven't really discovered it yet. As you can see, I'm not hitting very well. This is Gold Glove Salvador Perez based on 2013. So they kind of grab his stats from what he did in 2013 and created a fun card to play with. Now there are signature series, which are these guys right here. So you got Jackie Robinson and Wade Boggs. These are called signature series. These are basically just an overall version of the player's career. This guy, obviously Wade Boggs, he's just a stud. These are what's called Player of the Month. These are free cards that everyone can unlock that SDS releases based on different moments. Now, this is my first year playing Diamond Dynasty, so my understanding is that it's based on the season that's happening, but because there is no season, this card was released in June, so they're basing it just basically on June 2017. But since there's going to be a season, I'm pretty sure they're going to base it on the current season. Now, feel free to comment, message me below, say, "You idiot, you're wrong," but pretty sure that's how it goes. These are, and there's also different tiers of cards. So right here, this is what's called a postseason card. It's basically based on Willie Stargell's 1979 postseason. It's all based on what he did during that particular postseason. This is a veteran card, basically how a player does when he's just old and shriveled. So his stats are slightly less than when he was in his prime. There's cards that are called breakout cards based on a player that broke out, essentially. Like, here I am. I'm a big leaguer. I'm here to stay. And these ones are obviously live series. This is Freddie Freeman as he stands today. Since there is no season, this is based on the beginning of the game, when the game first came out. This is a Player of the Month card based on June 2018. You unlock them through different moments and different paths. And these are called Faces of the Franchise. These are something done through affinities. Now, Team Affinities, I briefly touched up about it, are also free cards that you can get just through offline grinding. So we'll start with the Padres, obviously, because I completed them. Now, missions, there's different missions associated with each team affinity. So you're going to start at stage 1 with every single person's going to start at stage 1. So the stage 1 missions are going to be every 250 innings that I play with San Diego players is going to count, and I need 250 of them. So if I have 9 San Diego players on my roster, 1 inning is going to count as 9 players. This is a bonus, so every 150 innings is going to give me an extra 2. This is a 1, so if you look on the left, it's going to say repeatable, not repeatable. If it's repeatable, if it is repeatable, you can do this as many times as you want. And these, so for instance, tally RBI with Padres third base, shortstop, or left fielder, it's a one-time thing. It's a one-time bonus of 5 stubs. Now, and there's showdown exchange. So these, you have to complete the particular showdown associated with the stage that you're on in order to unlock, I think it's 20 or 25 vouchers that you can exchange to complete this team affinity. If you complete the Padres collection, the live series collection, I'm going to show you just an example. This is what they mean by live series collection. Every single player that's on the Padres roster right now, I collected all of them. So I get 10 towards my Padres team affinity. Now there's different strategies. I'm not going to get into how to quickly get team affinities, because quite frankly I'm still relatively new, just like you guys, to this whole thing. So I'll show you. Each increment on this side is 5 points towards the team affinity. So when you get 5 points towards a team affinity, I unlock Chase Field. 10, I get a team affinity pack directly towards, I'm going to get 2 silver Diamondback players. I'm going to get 2 bronze Diamondback players. Then 15 obviously gives me the icon. 20 gives me 2,000 stubs, and etc, etc, etc. And as I complete more points towards team affinities, you get more unlocks. And as the year progresses, they start unlocking more. They just announced these guys about 2 weeks ago or so, and these guys you can actually sell. If you don't care about them but you have them, you can sell them and make a quick 30 40 stubs, 30 40k stubs. And obviously stage 4 hasn't been released yet. We don't know when they're going to be released or what the path would be, but there's different paths for all 30 teams, and they're all kind of the basic fundamentals. There's different stages. I believe it's 70 for the first stage, and then as you pass the first stage, and second stage is 50, and then another 70. Yeah, so 70 for the first stage, so that gets you up to here, I think, and then 50 gets you up to here, and then 70 gets you up to here. And also for the team affinities, if you're an offline player, you can see March to October. March to October, based on the difficulty that you selected, this is an estimation on the amount of team affinity points that you're going to get towards your team. So for instance, I think I picked the Marlins, right? So if you go to the Marlins, March to October, if I played on the dynamic difficulty, it's going to be based on what difficulty I played the most on. So if I finished All-Star Break, at the All-Star Break, you're going to get a certain amount. If I played mostly on Legend, I'll get 18. If I played mostly on Rookie, I'll get 4. If you play on Rookie, obviously you can see on the left that you're going to get between 4 and 8, depending on how you're doing. End of the season, you're going to get another 4 and 8, depending on how you're doing. If you win the Division Series, you're going to get 4. If you win the ALCS, you're going to get 8. And if you win the World Series, you're going to get another 12. So if you go all the way through and win the World Series, you are likely to get 32 points towards your team affinity if you play on Rookie. Different difficulty levels give you more. So you can see 42, 52, 62, 72. And that's 72. If you're good enough to play this game offline, if you finish March to October on Legend, you can complete a whole stage. And it's based on the stage that you're in, so some things to consider. XP reward pass, so you get random rewards as you get XP. There's different reward paths. Everyone starts on, what is it, bronze 1, and as you play the game, you're going to get different rewards. These count towards if you're playing offline or online. It doesn't matter. So if you're an offline player playing franchise, you still get XP. You're going to see it on the top left of your screen. And as you level up your game, you're going to go to different stages through this, through these, and you're going to get different rewards, more stubs, more packs, rewards. And you can see I'm 93 gold, and it goes all the way through. There's a hidden tier called Prestige. I'm not there yet, but hopefully I'll get there soon. There's different collections that you can complete to get various rewards. Now, this is important too. With Diamond Dynasty, when you have your inventory, cards are either sellable or non-sellable. Non-sellable means you cannot exchange it on the community market. So, for instance, if I have Josh Donaldson, to keep it simple, I know there's a little more to it, but if you wanted to buy this card right now, I can buy it right now for 548,000 stubs. If I wanted to sell it, I can sell it for 405,000 stubs right now. There's a commission that gets taken out, 10% if you sell it, but that's getting into flipping, and this is just an intro, so you shouldn't be flipping if you don't know really how to play this game yet. And this is, you can also obviously buy more stubs. There are different programs within Diamond Dynasty. They fall into featured programs. That's the main programs that the game endorses. So you start off with the first inning. Right now we're currently on the 5th inning, and it's just like Team Affinities, it's just like XP. There's different paths. As you do different rewards and different missions, you get points towards this program. And each point towards this program, as you go to this, you get different rewards. The primary goal is you want to get to 300 points in the program, because that's when you get what are called the bosses. So in this particular instant, we're on the 5th inning bosses. The bosses are Mariano Rivera, David Ortiz, Larry Walker. You pick one. These cards are generally very good to use. And once you get these cards, they're yours to have forever. Now you can either sell them, or you can use them towards a collection. Collections give you various rewards, but once you collect a card, it's unsellable. You're collecting it. It's yours. It's your card to have forever. So if you already have one card, don't ever collect 2 of them. I don't even think it's possible, but you basically don't want to collect 2 cards unless you're selling one. And as you get further in, there's different bonuses. Now, if there's different programs, as you can see, these are the monthly awards that I was telling you about. You start off with April, and there's different missions that you can do to accomplish your path. And obviously each month is going to have 4 rewards that you can use as a diamond. And that's one thing that I really like about Diamond Dynasty, is that San Diego Studios does a really good job of giving you free cards that you can compete with. Unlike Madden Ultimate Team, which is pay to win, I do feel like MLB The Show is play to win. The more you play the game, the better cards you're going to get. So there's different paths. The moments that we're kind of telling you about, moments help you get points towards it, or you can bypass the moment and just do straight missions. And the missions help you pitch innings with great pitchers. That's pretty self-explanatory. Asterisk, if it says online, it can either be through events, ranked seasons, or battle royale, I believe. So those 3 game modes. Play versus computer is not done through Play Now. It is done through right here, extended play. You have to go right here and play on All-Star or higher to get that path. There's also called Prestige. It's just like any other video game. Prestige is when you exceed a certain amount of goals for a certain player, you get an upgraded version of that player. So for instance, right now Tony Gwynn is one of the cards that I have. If I get 101 hits with this Tony Gwynn, and I get 22 extra base hits, 31 RBIs, and 41 runs, I get this version of Tony Gwynn. But there's a caveat to it. If I don't want to have Tony Gwynn at all, like if I don't want Tony Gwynn as my player, and you plan on selling him, there's no point in prestiging it, because the only way to get a prestige version is by collecting it. So once you collect it, again, remember, if you collect the card, it's non-sellable. Now, a lot of these cards already are non-sellable. For instance, Gary Sheffield's unsellable, so you might as well collect it. You might as well get your free stubs. So to kind of recap Diamond Dynasty, there's different tiers of cards. There's rarities, just like any RPG. There's rarity. So there's diamond, gold, silver, bronze, and commons. Each tier has a minimum sell point. So I believe diamonds sell for a minimum of 5,000 stubs. Golds, I believe, is a minimum of 1,000. Silver is 100. Bronze is 25. And commons sell for a minimum of 5. So you'll never see it below that. There's different levels. You can see in the collections that these are all the different types of cards that there are. There's veterans, there's all-star cards, there's breakouts, there's rookie cards, awards cards, signature series, prime cards. These are typically beast of cards. So, I mean, for instance, this is Jake McGee in his prime. So they base the stats on him in his prime. There's Players League. So MLB The Show had a Players League earlier. These are cards based on, I believe, how they did in the Players League. These cards kind of suck. So faces of the franchise are only completed through team affinities. You can see I don't have that many, but if I collect 5 of these cards, I get 500 stubs and 1500 XP. If I collect 10 of them, I get 1,000, etc., etc. And I get so like if I collect them all, if I collect 60 of them, I get 15,000 stubs and 20,000 XP, and I get 5 Ballin' as a Habit packs, which have increased odds of opening golds. So it's kind of like a mission to shoot for. Different prospects, they kind of project stats for certain prospects. And there's future stars, which is basically prospects on steroids. So they're basically better versions of the top prospects, and you get a little bit more of them. For instance, I love this card, Taylor Trammell. Hate the trade, hate to see Franmil go personally, but hey, gotta live with Trammell. Home Run Derby cards, so based on basically super jacked up power cards that can't field to save a lick, but if you don't care, you just want to hit jumbo jacks all day, by all means, go for it. It's like, for instance, I got to collect 10 of these to get a King Griffey Jr. card, and the only way to collect them at this point in the game, because there's no Home Run Derby packs available, is by buying them in the market, and that can get expensive, so I'm not really pursuing that right now. And there's lightning cards. The lightning cards are the final bosses on the Player of the Month. It's the best Player of the Month version that there is. So, for instance, the most recent one was this James Paxton card. So if you complete all the missions for the Player of the Month, you get the lightning card and you get a lightning bat skin. It's basically just a super Player of the Month card. And you can see all the collections here. So live series right here, so you can see how it says collected. It now marks it on the card that says no sell. It means I cannot sell this Kirby Yates card if I wanted to, because I collected it to get the Steve Finley you can see on the left. I collected all of them. I got Steve Finley, 1500 stubs, and 35. If you collect them all at once, you do get all the bonuses on the bottom. So you get to collect 10, collect 20, collect 30, and collect all bonuses just all at one time. And all the completed ones get hidden down to the bottom. Obviously the American League West collection is if I collect all the bosses that you get for finishing that collection. So if I get, right now I currently have 30 Astros collected, and I need I need these 4 and this, and then I can just buy these real quick, and then I get a 92 Nolan Ryan. And then once I get the Angels, I get 85 Garrett Anderson, and then I can collect a 94 diamond Billy Wagner. So you can see this is for the Angels, and this is for the Astros. There's starter collections that kind of gets you introduced. So like your first collection is basically just collect Ship It Stadium and Javi Baez, which are cards that the game gives you when you first start your Diamond Dynasty. You collect 10 infielders. As you collect cards, you'll just get them, and you get an extra 500 to 1,000. These are pretty easy collections to kind of introduce you how the collections work, how you get XP, and there's different equipment, various there. And you can just kind of run through these and see the different programs, collect stadiums, unlockables, create a player, and trophies. That is essentially it. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll try to answer any of them as I can. Again, I wanted to create this video because I have not played Diamond Dynasty up until this year, and I feel like I missed out on so much. And maybe there's a different game mode. Maybe you only play Diamond Dynasty and you never really played March to October, or you never played Road to the Show and you're missing something out there. So I just want to get you guys exposed to the basic fundamentals of each game mode, because there are a lot in this game. So if you have any questions, comment. Please like and subscribe if this was helpful, and you guys have a good night.